You're probably wondering who the schmuck is coming onto my recommended page acting like he knows Minecraft better than me. I bet you don't even play Minecraft. Well, my friends, I would personally call myself a bit of a Minecraft fanatic. Do you have little toys of your Minecraft skin? Bet not. I've been playing Minecraft since beta 1.7.3 to be exact, which was nearly 13 years old at this point. God, I'm old. And over the last 13 years, I've very rarely put Minecraft down for a long period of time, and personally, I don't know if that's because I just love the game so much, or if it's because of the audio. Long story short, there are very few people like me who could probably talk about Minecraft, and the topic of this video, it's updates. Since 2011, Minecraft has changed a lot, and boy does it get criticized for this or, well, that, new. But each update does have its positives and its negatives, so I say we sit down and look at each update and put them against each other. Royal Rumble style, 1-5 going in from the top rope! I don't watch wrestling. I don't know if that was a good wrestling joke. Point is, in this video, we're going to rank the official updates from Minecraft starting 1.0 all the way to 1.21 from worst to best. Don't forget to like and sub and stuff. I'd appreciate it. Before I begin, two quick things. Firstly, I am starting Minecraft 1.0 since beta versions were very similar to each other since they pretty much just added an update every single week. That and I only played version 1.7.3, so I don't have much knowledge to earlier beta versions before that. Secondly, the ranking that I'm going to do is going to be based on three different things. Firstly, what did the version actually add? Did it add useful stuff? Was it just filler? Did it actually help or hinder the game? You know, that kind of stuff. Secondly, how did the community react when the version actually came out? Was it well received? Did people hate it? On a scale of bringing people back for their 2-week Minecraft stint to Mojang employees getting threatened by a mob, how much did they actually like the version? And finally, though arguably the least important of the three, how fun is it to go back to that version today and actually play it? I sometimes go back and play old versions of Minecraft mainly for video stuff, but occasionally I do also do it for fun. Basically, is the version worth going back and playing today, or are there better versions to play instead? I think I pretty much summed up the well. Let's get into the ranking. And at the bottom of the barrel, number 22, it is the 1.16 never update. No, could you imagine though? No, I'm putting at the bottom of the barrel the 1.1 update. The fact that this is at the bottom of the list is actually pretty straightforward. In the beta versions of Minecraft, pretty much they would add anything they could and add it as their own separate update to the point where updates were coming out pretty much weekly. And in the early official days of Minecraft, that was pretty much the same thing. Don't believe me, this is the shortest time a brand new version has been added to the game, being not even 2 months at the time. But it's not about how long they took, it's actually what they added. And well, they added spawn eggs, small variations to existing biomes, and super flat. Oh wait, they added languages. Don't forget about languages, I guess. Look, people didn't really care about this update when it first came out. And let's be honest for a second, there's no real reason to play this version today. You're either going all the way back to the original 1.0 or you're playing a little bit later. Like, you're not gonna go back to this version and be like, oh, this is where apples start dropping from leaves. I have to go check it out. It's fine for what it is. It just didn't do really anything special. So yeah, I do think it deserves to be at the bottom of the list. You know what else deserves to be at the bottom of the list? Number 21, the 1.15 update. Oh boy, did we love this one. So I'm gonna quickly stop right now and I'm gonna ask you, the viewer, just a very simple question. The 1.15 update was the Buzzy Bees update. Can you name one thing about this update that wasn't bee related? Go on, I'll give you a second. Oh, what's that? Oh, you can't? Oh, maybe that's because they didn't do anything else! Bees, honey, beehives. This update was focused on bug fixes and improving performance? Why didn't they just do that for 14.1 and then focus on something worthwhile? They had 8 months to do this. That is quadruple the time it took between 1.0 and 1.1. Look, as far as update go, this is arguably the most lackluster of them all. Seriously, why are the bees so big? I'm gonna punt it if it comes near me, I'm serious. I don't know anybody who would want to go and play 1.15. The community at the time absolutely hated this update, and it just really was a terrible update. Did you know that bees are weak to Bane of Arthropods? Like, I didn't know that coming into this video, but I mean, I guess that makes sense. Coming in at number 20, we have the 1.10 update. I mean, the fact that 1.9 is still in the race is kind of crazy to me. I imagine in the boardroom at Mojang, and they were like, all right, guys, we need some cool ideas for the update, and Jeb was all like, let's add polar bears, because his wife told him, because he's a simp. He's a simp. Honestly, I kind of get it. My wife asked me to put the crab rave in this video. Love you, babes. The update added polar bear, strays, horse, fossils, and of course, the best block of the world, the Never Wart block. A 3x3 Never Wart creation that you couldn't even find in the game at this point and can't be undone once you do it. Why did they add this? Let me put it like this. If the best thing that you added to your update is a bone block, which at the time can only be found in fossils, which themselves were almost impossible to find, you've gaffed up. You gaffed up the funk real bad. I promise when the updates get good, I'll be a happy boy, but like, come on, the 1.10 update update sucked. Number 19, it's 1.12. How are you still here? Now, to give credit to 1.12, this actually was a really good update for builders of all kind. The problem is not every single person is an avid builder. You think the PvPers, the adventure map explorers, or the achievement hunters give a flying French toast about colored beds? Spoiler, they don't. They don't care at all. Admittedly, the colored concrete was actually a really nice addition, but it is kind of pointless considering you already have stained clay. So an extra variation of a slightly different colored block is something that is kind of nice, but I don't see why they spent so much time focusing the update on just that. I do think the funny thing about this update, that arguably the coolest thing they added to this version, which is arguably the coolest thing they added in recent times, was the illusionist. And yet to this day, 7 years later, it still isn't in the game. I mean, it is, but it's not. You get the point. We'll probably never get to see PJs in the game at this point, let's be honest. They also added parrots, which again was a fun gimmick for like 5 seconds, but let's be honest for a second, whose favorite mob is the parrot? And no, stop right now. Don't be that guy in the comment section being like, oh my god, the parrot's the best. Where everybody knows that you're lying. Lying to make friends. You're full of it. Quite frankly, you still owe me 20 bucks. Number 18, and we're finally getting to it. It is the 1.9 update. All right then. Here we go. So coming into this video, I expected 1.9 to be dead last, but I do have to give it credit because when he did do something right, he honestly did something well, which is not something I can say about any of you three. What are you looking at, bunty bees? The end cities and outer ends are actually a really good addition to the game. In fact, this is the last time they added anything end-wise to the game in about 8 years. Oh, hey, Haven here in the future, quick editors. Now, I actually learned that they added stuff in 1.11. They added like the shulker boxes and the actual shulker shells, but this was also the same year as 1.9, so that 8-year thing wasn't wrong. I think you get the moving on. Also, little things like end rods, purple blocks, dragon heads, grass paths, they were all decent little additions. Unfortunately, its very small victories are overshadowed by the fact that this update by itself nearly destroyed Minecraft. How can you call it the combat update if you completely destroy combat? I've never seen anybody drop the ball this badly before. They didn't drop the ball, it's shattered, the ball is gone. Listen, this update came out in 2016, so I imagine there's quite a few of you that have never played pre-1.9, so let me tell you of a glorious time before the 1.9 update. It was 2016, Harambe was alive, Minecraft's PvP community was huge, arguably one of the biggest it had ever been. You had great, massive servers like OCTC, a classic PvP server. Hunger Games, the survival games, oh, does that take you back? That is a nostalgia trip if there ever was one. And my personal favorite, the best Minecraft mini game there ever had been, UHC, Ultrahardcore. It was Hunger Games to the extreme. I admit I probably have a little bit of bias towards this because UHC was so precious to me. I played it like religiously back in the day. But the reason I bring up these things is that I know for a fact there are going to be people watching this video being like, I have never heard of 2 or 3 of those concepts that I've just mentioned, because nowadays they are either dying or completely dead. And let me tell you, when they were alive, they were massive. Most of the Minecraft community was following this. PvP was huge before the combat update, but it's just not anymore. I'm sorry, the 1.9 update completely killed the PvP community, and though that's probably an argument for a different video, it's such a bad thing that it did. Quite frankly, if this list was based on community reaction, this update would finish 27th. I don't know how, it just would. You basically had 2 choices when this update came out. You either A, moved on to different PvP games like Fortnite or Overwatch, or B, you stuck in the 1.8 update and watched everybody go along, when after 5 years or so, the same update with no changes obviously gets very boring. Let me put it like this. If Hypixel, the biggest Minecraft server that has ever been, still uses the original PvP version to this day, ball shattered! I'm not even done. I'm not even done with this update. So, let's talk about the elytras. Oh boy, remember horses? Remember minecarts? Remember walking? Well, screw that. You don't need that anymore. Now, to be fair, this version only allowed you to fly. You couldn't use fireworks until a later update, but the point, it still added something that completely broke the traveling version of Minecraft. People hate elytras because it just completely ruins so much of Minecraft in the fact that once you get an elytra, there is no reason to go and use any other form of transport. You just make a firework farm and then you just fly around at the speed of sound. They're just way too overpowered. And here's the funny thing, this is not the only overpowered thing that Minecraft added in this version. They also added mending. How is this not last? How are we at 18? Look, whether you like or dislike mending, you can't argue the fact it completely changed the end game of Minecraft. Before mending, if you had a high tier diamond pickaxe and it gets close to being damaged, then you have to repair it with an anvil, with it eventually costing more and more each time. Eventually to the point where it probably is too expensive to actually fix it, so you have to make yourself a new diamond pickaxe, so you just have to keep working on it. But now that they've added mending, well, you spend about 5 minutes in the Nevermind quartz or 30 seconds of your overpowered Enderman farm, and that's it. It's fixed just like that. Maybe one day I will go over the most controversial additions to Minecraft. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in the comment section below. But let me put it like this. Arguably, the 3 biggest controversial things that ever happened in Minecraft were added in 1.9. It was an update that ruined a huge part of the community, that added way too overpowered items that to this day people still despise, and I mean, it added do I really need to say more? At number 17, we have the 1.2 update, which was, well, it was jungles. Alright, moving on. Alright, at number 15, alright, let's be serious. This was still in the early days of Minecraft, where they only added a couple of things and released a new update, and in 1.2, Minecraft added jungle. That is really the only notable feature about this version. I'm not even kidding. New sandstone textures that you couldn't even see at the game at the time, balls of enchanting, and the best of them all, the desert well. Round of applause for the desert well, everybody. Alright, to be fair, it did actually add iron golems, but you really think the addition of iron golems are gonna make the 1.2 update crack the top 5? What are you, an iron golem lover? I think it fits fine into the category of 1.1, where it was just a fine update but didn't really push the boat. I think it sits near the bottom, and I think it's fair. It's not a hated update, it just didn't do enough. And at number 16, we have the 1.6 update. Yes, that is accidental. I think at this point I can say that every single update coming on this list is an update that I have at least a little bit of like for, or has something going for it that I can at least strongly defend to put it above anything that became before it. 1.6 is a perfect example of that, because it's basically the B update, except they actually added a good use for an animal, the horse. Before being able to fly around at the speed of sound, people actually had to walk to places. Disgusting, I know. So the beloved horse was added, and can I say, everybody liked that. They also added Stain Clay, which again, for the time, was a really good addition to the game. Honestly, I actually don't think that this is a bad update at all. In fact, it's a pretty good update. It just didn't really do that much. Maybe if they added the zombie horse, it probably would have been a slot or 2 higher, but I guess he can just go back to playing poker with the illusionist and Beast Boy, I guess. Number 15, the 1.21 update. So as of editing this video, the mace was just added to Minecraft. Basically, 1.21 hasn't fully come out yet. It's probably about 75% done at this point, but in my opinion, even if they added a few more good additions to the game, I personally don't think that the 1.21 update would even crack the top 10 for me. Let's just assume a completed version of this with a couple more good updates, and you're probably looking at maybe like the 11th, 12th place or so. But if we are going to focus on what has been added so far, honestly, I think that this is a fair spot for it. Trial chambers are cool in theory, but I can't tell if they're meant to be like really difficult dungeons or something you should be able to do in just plain iron armor. Very recently, me and 2 of my friends went into a trial chamber with just iron armor and enchanted gear, and honestly, we didn't struggle at all against anything that was in here. That itself is fine, it's just what you get back from actually searching these things. You get diamond armor, enchanted gear, you can even get uber apples in here. Like, if you look at the uber apple in most places you can find, they are actually very, very rare, except the ancient city, but they're like the most difficult place in the game to search, so of course it makes sense that you have a better chance of finding them in there. But that being said, the chance of getting a uber apple in a trial chambers is about 10%, which in my opinion is way too high. It's way too easy to get them in here. It doesn't help that the trial chambers themselves are just way too difficult to find for no apparent reason. If you think of any uncommon / rare structure in Minecraft, then there is at least a way to find them. The stronghold has eyes of enders, mansion and monuments have maps. Even the ancient city, though, doesn't have a direct way to find them. You mostly will find them underneath mountains. As for the trial chambers, well, good luck. Now, to be fair, I kind of expect them to add some sort of map or indicator to where they are, but as of right now, they haven't, and if they did, it would help, but honestly not a massive amount. Other additions include the wing charges, which are a fun gimmick for like 5 seconds, but let's be honest for a second, they don't do anything special to natural Minecraft. Parkourers will probably love them. That's about it. And look, as much as I love the actual breeze and the concept of the breeze and everything, I honestly have to admit that it is a relatively weak mob. There's also the bogged, but let's be honest for a second, they kind of just took what they did with the spider and did that again. And then there is the maze, which I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I don't have a lot of confidence making a fair comment about, because I'm 99% confident that they will actually make some sort of tweak or changes to it. Let me put it like this, you should not be able to one-shot the warden in Minecraft at all, and you could do that with a mace. So yeah, I expect them to change it. I think the only addition to the actual update that I would strongly say is a great addition is the auto crafter. It's a redstone contraption that can automatically craft pretty much anything you want if you set it. Basically, it makes farm storage and stuff just so much better and nicer, and honestly, I'm a really big fan of it. The rest of the update though, yeah, I'm not convinced. Number 14, 1.11. In my opinion, one of the most underrated updates in the entire game. You have to remember it came out between 3 updates that are literally in the bottom 4, but in my opinion, there was this little golden patch here which definitely definitely help. Shulker boxes show that you can add an overpowered item to Minecraft without, you know, breaking the game. Woodland mansions were a good rare addition to the game. They added llamas. Observers completely changed the redstone game forever, and for the record, they are a fantastic addition. And then there is the Totem of Undying, which kind of gets marks and also loses marks, because whilst it is a very overpowered item, at the time it was very hard to get, and though you can break it later, which I will discuss in the future, right now it was a fantastic achievement to actually get one, and you wouldn't get many of them. So yeah, I actually really like the Totem of Undying at this point. Obviously, the Woodland mansions are key for this update being a good update, and it's not the fact that they're rare, they're also very difficult. Like seriously, they will take you down to Chinatown if you ain't ready. These Vexers, honestly, could go fuck. But like I say, the ultimate reward for this very difficult place is you get a Totem of Undying, which like I say, back then, this was the only way to get them. In my opinion, very underrated update. Number 13, the 1.19 update. Serious question to anybody involved. Why was it called the Wild update? Who looked at frogs and went, ooh, wild? With the addition of mangrove swamps, mud-chested boats, and deep dark, it was honestly a pretty solid update. I think the big problem that I have with the update is that everything in the update is actually relatively rare. The mangrove swamp is arguably Minecraft's rarest biome, barring the Mushroom Island, and the deep dark ain't too much more common. Like, yes, I know they can usually spawn underneath mountains, but that's not always a guarantee, you know? It doesn't help that the deep dark part of this update was basically delayed from, what, 1.17? So people had to wait an additional year to get the warning into the game, and that kind of just left a sour taste in people's mouths. It's a fine update by itself. It just pretty much was very soured by the Fireball Shabuckle. No, not them. Number 12 and 11 is the 1.17 and the 1.18 update. Alright, look, I know I might be cheating a bit here by putting these two together, but they literally are called part 1 and part 2 of the same update. But just out of fairness, if I was to separate them, I'd probably put part 1 around here somewhere and part 2 somewhere near the bottom 5. Minecraft have been on a roll recently of updating old mechanics of the game to make them better. Swimming in oceans was 1.13, Villagers forever changed the game in 1.14, 1.15 added bees, 1.16 was the nether, and 1.17 was meant to be the caves, and cliffs apparently. But due to time limitations and blah 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 blah, they split it up into 2 updates that both feel pretty hollow without the other. Part 1 added all the things that go into the caves, geodes, deep slate, copper, raw ores, axolotls, glow squids, whilst part 2 added the actual caves. And cliffs, apparently. And honestly, when they're combined together, they actually make a pretty good update, but they do definitely lose marks for being split up into 2 updates. I honestly think it would have just made more sense to just delay the update for as long as they needed to put it all in one go. But what do I know, right? I'm just a Minecraft YouTuber who has too much time on his hand, not a Mohanger. Calling them that from now on. I think what probably knocks it to mid-table is the fact that people's opinions were sour due to the split up. Also, promised features being delayed or just completely removed didn't help anybody involved. I think it's just the fact that people were pretty disappointed, all things considered. Also, if you're gonna play an older version of Minecraft, you're not playing 18 or 17, you're probably gonna go back just before the caves were done, or honestly to the later updates. I mean, you're never gonna play just one of these updates. Number 10, the 1.5 update. I'm gonna be 100% honest to everybody watching this video. I am not, nor will ever be, a redstone boy. However, for what Minecraft was back in 2013, I have to say that the update to redstone was a fantastic feature and everybody really liked it. This was the original expand the concept that's already in the game to make it much better that they would focus on in the early teens of Minecraft, with a huge overhaul to redstone and huge redstone additions that make redstone just better. It also added quartz. I mean, it's quartz. Listen, whether you use it for redstone, use it just to gain a bunch of experience, or you even build with it, everybody loves quartz. I remember when I was younger, I made a giant quartz house and I called it the White House. Younger me used to be a friggin' genius. There's honestly not really much else to say about this update. It really just was redstone focused, but honestly, it was a fantastic update to the game, and a lot of people have done a lot of good thanks to this update. Also, when have minecart spawners been a thing? How long have they been in the game? They're not in the game, are they? Number 9 is the 1.20 update. For the longest time, I thought this was the Trails and Tales update, like a smart person. That being said, cracking the top 10 is an update that honestly on the surface level doesn't look that fantastic, but overall is honestly a very solid update, all things considered. There are just so many individual features that people honestly loved about this update. 2 new wood types, which the star obviously being the cherry tree, which let me be honest for a second, people loved the cherry tree. They've been asking for it for years. Archaeology was finally added to the game, which to be honest with you isn't my cup of tea, but I've seen a lot of other people enjoy it, and I kind of like the variation of if you want to get this or that, you have to go through the archaeology side of things. Armor trims were just beloved. They don't really do anything, but the fact that you can add extra cosmetics to your own armor is just such a simple simple yet creative way to expand the game to give you an extra goal in the future. And the changes in Netherite, though I've seen people complain about it, in my opinion is a fantastic change. And I will happily fight anybody about that. Like, seriously, come at me, bro. I beat Matterbox and I can take you. It's not perfect by any means. I mean, both the Sniffer and the Camels were disappointments at best. And not a single one of you watching this video can tell me the difference between a raft and a boat. But overall, 1.20, good update. At least I like it. Number 8 is the 1.3 update. Considering that 1.1 and 1.2 are both very, very low, having 1.3 crack the top 8 is honestly quite surprising, but in my opinion, it definitely deserves to be here. For a start, it added variation. Did you know that before 1.3, if you tried to make any type of slab or stair using wood, you would only get oak slabs or oak stairs? It was terrible, I know. It also added emeralds and trading, which, to be fair, is a really, really basic and bare bones trading system to what would be added later, but honestly, villages originally were just useless. They were just a place that you would go to ransack and then just leave. The villages were basically non-existent entities. However, the real feature that puts this version so high is the pyramids. Not so common structures that have somewhat nice looting that really fit the world of Minecraft just perfectly. I've seen a lot of people call the 1.3 update the last update of the golden era of Minecraft, and I can understand why people would say that. A lot of new features that were added after this update, I've seen people say that they're not very Minecrafty, which I can understand where they're coming from. And though that's definitely not a bad thing, I think Minecraft is a better game than what it was in 1.3. In my opinion, this was the last time Minecraft felt like original Minecraft, if that makes sense. Basically, the 1.3 update was good. It's nostalgic. It's a great update, and I understand why people would not want to pass this update when they're playing old versions of Minecraft. Number 7 is 1.8. If I was to rank these by player count, by how much a person has played a specific version or still plays a specific version, I'm pretty sure that you're looking at number 1 right here. Minecraft's 1.8, the Bountiful update, is by far the most played version of Minecraft, bar maybe the current version, but considering that this version is nearly 10 years old at this point, I think it's done well for itself. Here's the thing about this update, in my opinion, that the actual additions to the actual update, they're nothing really to write home about. You got the non-stone blocks of ocean monuments and all the blocks that go in there. You got banners. I hardly know. No, not doing that. Though clearly the best addition was the fact that she finally dropped food. Like, seriously, why wasn't this thing for a while? Although nothing to really affect the actual game of Minecraft, in my opinion, spectator mode is a fantastic addition, and I'm really grateful that they added it to the game. That being said, if I don't think the 1.8 update had added many great features, then how is it all the way up in 7? And the honest answer is, it's the fact that this version is beloved by so many people, myself included. It was the last update before the combat update, which I've already spoke about enough in this video, and so a lot of my time playing Minecraft was in this version because, as I've already mentioned, I was a Minecraft PvP UHC expert. Sure, I'll call myself an expert. Those who stuck around the game and actually didn't want to update basically were stuck in this version, and honestly the PvP community stuck around for a while. It was probably about 2018, 2019 by the time most of the PvP communities have kind of given up and moved on to other things, but that was about 5 years after this update came out, which is still a pretty good longevity for the update. As well, if you're gonna look at PvP competition nowadays, I do actually think you would probably see them in 1.8 because, again, this is probably just a better version of Minecraft PvP in my opinion. My only real complaint about this update is honestly the lapis enchanting, in my opinion, kind of makes the game a bit easier. I think that's a bit of an unpopular opinion, but hey, I think it's just worth mentioning for the update. That being said, the 1.8 update is probably only this high because of my own personal biases, but to be 100% honest with you, I originally put this update at number 4, so I've been about as fair as I can be in this update. Long story short, this update is fantastic, and I have a lot of fond memories in this update personally. It's not the best, but it honestly is such a special update for me. Number 6 is the 1.7 update. It's literally called the update that changed the world. Do I need to explain what this update did? Before Minecraft 1.7, the world was a bit, basic. You had plains, oak forests, snowy tigers, and oceans, and yeah, that's about it. But after 1.7, well, you had mesas, savannas, roof forest, birch forest, ice spikes, non-snowy tigers, mega tigers, and variations of every one of them, plus the original biomes. The game had become so full of life, and it was just fantastic. You also get the additions of tinted glass, and honestly, I personally think that this is a fantastic update that, say it with me, changed the world. I really think if you're gonna play a version of Minecraft, you'd probably play 1.8 over 1.7, but man, I can't imagine Minecraft without these additions. It's just crazy to think about. Number 5, 1.14. Bit of a controversial controversial opinion here, but I really don't like this update. I think though the revamp to the villages was absolutely needed, and though it did ruin some key features of Minecraft, but I can also respect how much people absolutely love this update. And my opinions about not liking it, I definitely accept that are definitely in the minority. 1.14's village and pillage update revamped villagers and all their trades, as well as adding a new mob and threat into the game, the pillager. Compared to the original trading system, this one goes super in depth and offers a brand new way to play Minecraft that still affects Minecraft to this day. Raids are a new and fun battle that give very fair rewards, and they ain't no walk in the park either, for the record. And with even more variations to slabs and stairs, they are always welcome to the game, let me just be clear about that. So why did I not like this update? Simple. Do you know how easy it is to get full diamond with good enchants in this version of Minecraft? It's very, very easy. For a test for this specific video, I actually jumped into a 1.14 world and got all of this gear that you are seeing on screen. It took me 25 minutes to do, and nearly 10 of that was me just finding a village. It is very easily manipulatable, and yes, that is a word, please don't Google it. And I fully accept that you don't have to do it, it just sucks that you can do it, if that makes sense. However, that's not even the worst fact about this update. The worst fact about this update is that you can now make raid farms, which means you can now farm totals of undying. Totals of undying are a completely overpowered item that you should not be able to farm. They should not be abusable, and 1.14 made them abusable. Again, you'll never catch me making a total of undying farm, but I know so many people who can, and I just think it makes the game too easy, in my opinion. Like I say, it is an unpopular opinion that I dislike this update so much, but I also completely respect that a lot of people love this update. So let's let everybody just settle on 5th place and we'll call it good. It's a game-breaking, flawed update, but it was also a good update, so yeah, let's move on. Number 4. Now, if I was to do this update as a tier list rather than a ranking system, I think every update that came before it would probably be F to A tier. Long story short, in my opinion, the final 4 updates are all S tiers, and coming in at the bottom of the S tier is the 1.4 pretty scary update, and in my personal opinion, the most underrated update of them all. Staples of Minecraft were added right here. You had carrots and potatoes, which don't seem like a lot, but again, in addition to a village and a new food source, was a really nice change. They also added witches, baby zombies, zombie villagers, the whole wither skeleton, beacon schnitzel, which was perfect to have a second boss in the game at the time. And by far the best addition of them all, Minecraft added the anvil in this update. A perfect creation that adds a good use to a very easy accessible resource in iron that you will normally have quite a lot of, and now you actually have a good use for all that iron. Also, the idea of being able to combine really good enchanted gear together was it's just such a good use for both the anvil and of course the levels that you'll have a lot of. I know it really seems simple nowadays, obviously the idea of the anvil, but back in 2012 when this was added, it was such a game-changing addition. Also, enchanted books showed up here, which you can now find in spawners and such. I remember the first time when I found a sharpness 5 book in a spawner, I kind of felt like the Legend of Zelda's Link himself lifting the Master Sword when I put that bad boy on a diamond sword. As far as updates go, I don't think there is a single problem with this update. It's just that the updates ahead of it just did more or better. Yeah. And cracking number 3 is the 1.13 update. Now, if I'm to go back in time and play old versions of Minecraft, I can survive the old caves, I can survive the old nether, but you know what I just can't survive? The old swimming was terrible. Out of all things that needed an update, this right here needed an update. It wasn't just swimming as well, oceans were just giant, empty, boring nothings. You'd occasionally find an ocean monument in there, but that's about it. But this update, well, this glorious update, coral reefs were fantastic, swimming fish schools are just amazing. Bloody dolphins were added. You can also get a turtle helmet in 1.13. Admittedly, they suck balls to actually get, but the fact that you can get one is just amazing. And they added stripped wood, a lovely little invention if I do say so myself. Also, different variations of pressure plates. Honestly, I'm surprised it took them so long to do that. Honestly, as far as updates go, this might be the best definition of a 99% perfect update. Now, I know some of you might be asking, why is it only 99%? And that's simple. 1.13 added the Phantom. We were so close. It would have been number 1 if it wasn't for the farting Phantom. Why? How could we do? Why did we vote this? Oh, why? And at number 2, the runner-up is the 1.0 Adventure update. I can't believe that the original update is this high at number 2. But when I tell you that this update is just perfect, it's just
perfect. Everything down to the last minute detail.
The original version of Minecraft added way back in 2011 is the nostalgia-filled donut that just tastes so good. So I could technically cheat and include all the stuff that was beta and alpha included in this update, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to focus on stuff that was just added in 1.0. To run through a quick list, hunger was just added to the game, so sprinting was brand new. They also added levels and enchanting, potions, mushroom islands, magma slime, blazes, lily pads, and of course, strongholds, the end, and of course, the elusive ender dragon. Which again, nowadays, of course there is an ender dragon, but let me tell you, back in the day, in the quote-unquote golden age of Minecraft, where they added an ender dragon so you could actually beat Minecraft for the first time, oh, it was fantastic. My lovely viewer, if you have made it so far in the video, I have one simple request for you. Well, actually two. If you could go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, that'd be really cool. But if you otherwise, I have one request for you. Go to your launcher, load up Minecraft 1.0, and just play the game. It is so much more different and so much more fun than you could possibly imagine from just a basic version of Minecraft. And if you're a Bedrock player, then it's gonna be you, I guess. 1.0 was a fantastic start to this game that added a brand new dimension, something that hasn't happened in 13 years, added XP and hunger, 2 game-changing implementations, and of course, the friggin' lily pad. Let's go! However, it is not number 1. It's almost number 1, but it is not number 1. And of course, number 1 is the 1.16 update. I mean, come on, we all knew it was going to be top 3 at worst. 1.16's Never update took the Never, the bland, boring Never that had just one biome in the occasional fortress, and just pumped it with so much life. 4 brand new biomes, a brand new structure that may be the most difficult part of the ancient city, a brand new armor and tool set in Neverite, got striders, yeah baby. It's just everything they tried, they just nailed in this update. Look, I feel like recent updates to Minecraft, there's just been a lot of little things put together to just make an update overall. But quite frankly, this update was one solid focus, just the Never, and they went to fix it, and they just made it perfect. The Never is fantastic. To put it in comparison to 1.21 just added the trial chambers. That's it. Minecraft 1.16 added the trial chambers in the version of the Bastion, and then everything else that itself could be its own unique update. Neverite was a very welcome addition to the game, whilst Diamond had been king of the hill since honestly the game's creation. Adding a new tier of armor and tools that is honestly quite difficult to get, and though admittedly needed tweaking, which it did in 1.20, was a fantastic fresh addition to the game. I think many people will agree that this is by far the best update out of the 22 updates thus far. The community reaction was nothing but positive, and if you're going back to play an old version of Minecraft, well, if you're not going to play 1.13 or 1.14, you're definitely going to play 1.16, which, let's be honest, pretty much covers recent versions of Minecraft. The Minecraft 1.16 update is without a doubt the best Minecraft update of them all, and if you still don't believe me, then it doesn't stop some big stuff. Woo! Hey guys, thanks for watching. Long-time viewers will know that this is very, very new for me to do, and I honestly had a lot of fun with it. Maybe I'll start doing other rankings soon, but for now, we are done. I thank you all for watching. Take care.